and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that is suffocating in cake. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 38, Episode 8, and we have quite a bit to get through. So let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Amber and Chauncey winning an elimination against Darrell and Veronica, coming back to the challenge house. Amber and Chauncey are on cloud 9, and we even get to see Amber and Michelle doing some victory dances, jumping up on the bed, having a great time. They're so happy to be back in the house, and Michelle is very happy to have Amber, pretty much her BFF besides Jay, back in this game. And we get to the next morning where we get some workout montages, and we see Nelson and Nerese doing some pool exercises. Nerese knows that the past week really drew some lines in the sand. So now with everybody knowing where they stand and where their cards lie, this is the point where their side needs to win or they could be possibly thrown in. We even get a little bit more of Olivia and Nelson's relationship, and they seem to be flourishing within the house, at least for this week. We even get a little bit of talk between Aneesa and Devin. We get more of what's the deal with you and Jordan type of vibe, because I'm sure everybody in the house is thinking we have Aneesa and Jordan as ride or dies, but how is that really a thing? And Aneesa does her best, and the only clip that MTV ever shows of Jordan and Aneesa together is Dirty 30, where they are having a giant fight. Aneesa at one point says that they've known each other for 10 years, yet they don't have any fun clips of Aneesa and Jordan to kind of sell like we love each other, we're brother and sister almost. No, let's put this to bed. They're not real ride or dies, but they're in this game together, they're working with each other, and that's it. That's all we have to go off of. We move on to the night portion where Nany wants to throw Bananas a birthday bash because it's his 40th birthday. He turns the big 4-0, and something that I'm kind of questioning is Nany wants to make this like giant birthday card with all of Bananas' stats on it, which is, I don't know, isn't that like telling everybody like, hey, this is a big red flag, we're a big threat to your game, look at my partner's stats, he's won 7 seasons out of 21. He's also has over $1 million won in this game. I hope nobody nominates us for another elimination. Hopefully not anytime soon. What the heck? What was with that? Also in the night portion, we have Nelson and Faysal talking, and they're talking about how this game is coming down to the wire. About half the teams are going to be nominated in 1 week at a certain point. So Nelson and Faysal are talking about their friendship. They're bringing up the hall brawl situation that happened back in Double Agents where Faysal wanted to throw himself in against Nelson. He was playing dirty. He wins. He takes Nelson out of the game. Yet it's never brought up until this moment. And Nelson's like, if I wanted payback or I couldn't trust you, 1, we wouldn't be rooming together, and 2, we wouldn't be working with each other. Nelson says he forgives but doesn't forget. Nelson seems almost too forgiving and too relaxed after what Faysal did to him in the hall brawl. I don't know. This kind of gave me a little bit more like pep in my step when watching this, because I was like, at least they're bringing it up. At least they're acknowledging it. And once I heard the word payback, I was like, maybe this is the episode. Maybe we could see a little bit of payback. We'll have to wait and see, because everybody dons their challenge gear to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge called Double Trouble. What teams are going to have to do in this daily challenge is one team member is going to be in a car trying to retrieve keys out of that one car. What the other partner is going to have to do is run across these 4 cars, retrieve the key, bring it back to the first car that they jumped on, put it in the slot. They're going to have to do that 4 times and then pull a lever. The team that can do this the quickest will win into power, win into safety, and nominate 4 teams. 3 standout teams in this daily challenge was Jay and Michelle, Bananas and Nany, and Jordan and Aneesa. They were lightning quick. The teams that did not stand out and ultimately DQ'd was Nelson and Nerese, which is not a good sign for their alliance and their side, and Casey and Kenny, who have been giving us nothing throughout this competition. As neither one of them had a confessional this episode, they did not do well in the daily challenge yet again as they DQ'd. Now I have to say that this was a pretty interesting daily challenge. Again, no explosions, pretty simple in concept, and I thought that this was actually really cool to watch. It comes down to the slimmest of margins, but ultimately, It is Jordan and Anissa taking this win. I have to say, this daily challenge fed into their strengths with having Jordan do 90 to 95% of the daily challenge, while Anissa kind of didn't have to move all that much. They were able to pull this one out, as Jay and Michelle, I think, were this close of winning yet another daily challenge, which could have spelled bad news for Jordan and Anissa, but now the shoe is on the other foot as we come back to the challenge house into the deliberations, and Jordan and Anissa instantly bring up Jay and Michelle. We're going to throw them in. Also, Nelson and Nerys are going to be nominated as well, because it was just last episode, they were in power, and they sent us into the elimination, or nominated us into elimination. So we're going to return the favor of those two teams, and because of collateral damage, and we have to say another team, we're going to say Olivia and Horacio. They're very close with Nelson and Jay, and we need to try to break up some of those numbers. Not really shocking. Now, it comes down to this fourth team. What fourth team are they going to nominate? Two teams come to their minds with Amber and Chauncey and Faysal and Mariah. Faysal and Mariah have been able to swerve out of being nominated up to this point, where Amber and Chauncey just went into elimination last week. They won. Yes, they're not doing as well in the daily challenges, and that ultimately plays into the decision, as Faysal and Mariah are in a great position in this game. And I think Jordan and Anissa kind of want to see them sweat a little bit. And they know that he is very close with Nelson and Nerys, so maybe take another shot at that side of the house. So when the board is shown, we have Jay and Michelle, Nelson and Nerys, Faysal and Mariah, and Olivia and Horacio. We go to the interrogation. They tell Nelson, Nerys, Jay and Michelle that this is retaliation. This is sort of revenge for what you have done to us. And then you have Olivia and Horacio. They say you're collateral damage. And it was really nice and touching, in my opinion, when Olivia says that we get it. We're rookie teams. We understand who we aligned with. And we're lucky just to have gotten this far. And Jordan was like, no. Luck has nothing to do with this. You're good. Don't downplay yourself. Don't underrate yourself. You're good. This is why you've gotten here. You've been in eliminations, you've done well in dailies, you have a good social game. Don't undersell yourself. So that was really, really good. And then we come down to Faysal and Mariah, and Faysal is not taking this nomination very well. He brings up, when we won, we could have nominated y'all, but we didn't, so now look at us. What do you expect us to do? Jordan and Anissa say, look, you got some numbers in the house. You're going to be looking out for other teams well before you're looking out for us, which I think is very valid at this point in the game. Like I mentioned, there's only one winner so far in this format. There's only one winner of each daily challenge, and they have to nominate 4 teams. There's only 9 teams coming into this episode. After this episode, there's going to be 8 teams left. You know somebody is looking out for 2 or 3 other teams. You know if they win, you're at least going to be nominated and possibly be sent straight into elimination. So I thought that was actually a pretty solid reason. However, when we come back to the challenge house, Faysal is having a temper tantrum, and he's talking to Nelson about how he loves this. He loves that if Anissa's going to play this game, he was looking for any and all excuses to not look out for Anissa and send her straight into the elimination. We also get this scene with Amber and Chauncey talking in bed, where Amber is kind of put off by how Michelle reacted to where Amber was trying to give Michelle a hug after the nominations, after the board was revealed, and it showed that Jay and Michelle were nominated. Amber tried to give a hug, and it sounds like Michelle was short with her, maybe kind of didn't want a hug at that moment, and Amber feels pretty down about that. So we move to the bar scene, and that instantly gets squashed. Michelle and Amber say that they are emotional players, but they love each other very much, and they know each one is rooting for the other one. So there's some kind of squabble or some miscommunication or some shortness with the other person that springs up and then is instantly squashed between the two when we get to the club. So I don't really want to spend too much time on it, as it doesn't have much to do with this episode. We move to Nerys and Jordan dancing with each other, and Nerys calling Jordan attractive for the way he competes. They're talking with each other. They're kind of getting close with each other. And the camera keeps on showing Jordan and Nerys dancing with each other while also trying to show Tori in the background. Really trying to stir up the pot here that drama is going to ensue very, very soon between the two. And then we have Aneesa talking to Faysal. And Faysal says that Aneesa is having a power trip. Aneesa gives Faysal a hug. Faysal reluctantly gives Aneesa a hug back, but gives a face to the camera. And Aneesa calls him out for making a face to the camera. They laugh, but Faysal's like, all gloves are off. If we win another daily, y'all are going to be nominated right then and there. The next morning, Nelson and Nerys are talking, and I didn't say this about the deliberation, but one interesting part of the deliberation between Jordan and Aneesa and Nelson and Nerys is Jordan brings up the fact of, if you're in the draw and you pick up the safe dagger and you have to choose between Olivia and Horacio and Faysal and Mariah, who would you save? And Nelson kinda was confused, really, really confused. Jump to this next morning, where both Nelson and Nerys are still very confused on who they would save between those two teams. They are asked it, they talk about it so much that you know in your brain, it's coming. I was just like, it's gonna happen. And now I'm thinking in my brain, who would he save? Would he save his love interest of Olivia? Or would he save his pseudo best friend who did stab him in the back and took him out of a game and running for $1 million? But they seem okay now, but he has every right to get payback on him. But with Nelson, nothing is ever easy, you know? Just like last episode with his head in a roller coaster going up and down, running fast and slow. Who would he say? Bananas and Nani? No, he says a completely different team of Amber and Chauncey. So nothing is ever easy with Nelson. Speaking of pulling the safe dagger, let's go to this week's elimination, meeting up with TJ in the zone where Jordan and Aneesa call out Jay and Michelle, saying that they want to return the favor of them sending them directly into the elimination. Jay and Michelle are going directly into this week's elimination. We head to the draw where Olivia and Horacio are the first ones to pull, blank. Then you have Faysal and Mariah, pull, blank. Boom, Nelson's worst nightmare. Nerys puts up her hand and goes, this is all you, Nelson. I trust in you. And Nelson chooses to save Faysal and Mariah. As an audience member, I would have loved to have seen Nelson and Nerys save Olivia and Horacio and put Faysal and Mariah into elimination. That's what I would have wanted personally. But for this week's elimination, we have Jay and Michelle going up against Olivia and Horacio in this week's elimination called Spun Out. This is a classic challenge puzzle where you have to move all of the puzzle pieces one at a time, put them on different rungs. You can't put a bigger piece on top of a smaller piece, and you have to transfer all of the puzzle from one end to the other. The catch here is that one player is going to be on one side of this giant wheel strapped, and they have to communicate where to move and when to stop to put their puzzle pieces on a certain rung to their partners who's on the other side of the wheel, making it move as they're running like a hamster on the wheel. This is another puzzle where the audience, I mean the people who are still in this game up on the stage, can yell to help one team solve the puzzle over the other team. But there's an added disadvantage to this puzzle as well, because it's really difficult, because with the wheel and having to communicate via the wheel through this giant wall on the wheel while your teammate could be hanging upside down as they're strapped to the other side of this wheel, trying to communicate through this wheel wall is already difficult. But add a stage of people, a group of people yelling at the top of their lungs as well, makes it almost impossible to hear the other person, your partner, through this wheel wall. So not only was yelling from the stage helping Olivia and Horacio, it was a major disadvantage to Jay and Michelle, who could not hear each other through this yelling. I mean, it was ridiculous how bad the yelling was, to the point where Jay and Michelle were completely taken out of this game. One, mentally, they were taken out of this game because Jay was yelling at the crowd to shut up. It was frustrating both Jay and Michelle in this moment. but then also having to try to solve the puzzle while also trying to yell at each other while yelling at the crowd. Olivia and Horacio get major help from the crowd again for the second puzzle this season in an elimination, and it ultimately ends up where Olivia and Horacio finish this puzzle, win this elimination, and even Horacio was like, who won? He couldn't even hear TJ declared them the winners after he blew the horn, and even Olivia was like, woo, we did it, we won. It was just so loud that even Horacio walked away and was like, who won? And they were like, you did. And he was like, oh, awesome. That's how loud it was and how difficult it was to communicate with your partner with so many people yelling at once. I really wish that there was a way that maybe they could have had like headphones that were noise canceling with a mic for the two teams to be able to talk. But even with that, you could hear probably the crowd yelling in the mic and stuff. So I don't know what the solution was for this, but I just thought that this elimination was really cool in concept, but just the crowd being able to interact with everybody kind of watered this elimination down for me. J. Michelle played a messy game, a crazy game, but it's a game that I admire as the audience because it was messy as all get out. It started all types of drama, and it was fun to watch while it lasted. But Jay and Michelle ultimately get eliminated from this game and are going home, while Olivia and Horacio, the rookie duo wonder for this challenge season, wins, stays in this game, and gets to rejoin the group. But before we leave, and TJ sends everybody back to the challenge house, he tells everybody that there's going to be a twist added in this game, and that something major is going to happen moving forward, but he won't tell anybody what that is until the next daily challenge. And now we're left on a cliffhanger where my brain is racing at all types of theories of what could happen as we're moving on from the middle part of this season to the final stretch of this season, as we're at episode 8, and then everything changes on episode 9, and then moving forward. So I don't know what could happen. What do you think could happen? Let me know all your theories down in the comment section below, as I'm going to be talking about more theories and what my possible theories could be, and maybe some of the theories left in this comment section in tomorrow's Tiny Table Talk. But that is it for this week's review and recap. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What did you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about the elimination? What did you think about Jordan and Anissa winning and their nominees? Do you think they made the right decision on who they nominated and sent directly into the elimination? Or do you think they should have taken some different shots at certain teams? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below, especially your theories of what could be the twist that is brought up in next episode, because I want to hear any and all theories, as I have my own, and I will read some of them in tomorrow's Tiny Table Talk. But that is it. I want to give a special shout out. Thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 38 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.